Well, welcome to the Stockbridge Bowl Stewardship Committee. And before I begin, let me read the following. Pursuant to MGLC 30A 20F, whatever that is, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may record or transmit this open meeting. This hybrid meeting is being recorded by the town of Stockbridge. The names of the members participating remotely will be announced. Any member of the public wishing to speak must first receive permission from the chair. The agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. The agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, but not all may be discussed. And other topics not listed may be brought up for discussion by the public body as permitted by law. All right, so I am going to begin this meeting, calling the meeting to order, and I want to have a vote on accepting the minutes of August 7th. Did everybody read the minutes of August 7th? Everybody got it?
Yes.
Is there any changes? Don, did you get any changes? Can he hear me?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe muted.
Oh, I hear.
Don? Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me? You know what I'm
Getting back from
Okay, Michael,
Yeah, hold on.
I can hear you, and I think you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that my computer?
Yes, you have to turn off the sound.
Oh, the sound is off. Oh, okay. All right, can you hear me? All right, so let's accept. Interesting.
That's because you're sharing your screen.
Okay, Jamie to the rescue.
Future computer. Okay,
Speaker all the way down too.
what?
Turn off your speakers
It's all the way, it's off.
and microphone.
And mute yourself.
Oh,
Speaker and microphone, two separate things.
I don't know how to turn it lower. You know how to turn? Oh,
Is it? Just click on that.
I did. Can you hear me?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Michael.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Apologize for that.
No problem.
And did you get any changes to the minutes, Don?
No, none.
All right. So is everybody, we'll have a vote to accept the minutes?
I move.
Okay,
Second.
so they're accepted. Are there any updates or announcements that anyone wants to make? All right. Updates from the harbor master.
Things are going well down at the ramp. We're going to conclude activities on Columbus Day. What is it? The 13th of October. Other than that, you know what's going on with the Josh. We're going to be pulling the markers on Saturday. Other than that, everything's fine.
All right.
There is an update as to what's happening at the boat ramp, however, if you're interested.
Yeah.
Okay, so the state has presented to the Conservation Commission a plan to install the kayak launch there, which is quite a massive project. That it will have pretty significant ramifications as to how the boat ramp functions and what it looks like. They are going to presumably make some improvements as to drainage, which will be great. But I'm not sure, and they're going to they are very, very clear that they are going to enforce what they fondly call the no fun signs, which is no swimming, no dogs, no picnicking, no anything. It is a public boat ramp. It is only to be used for that. And I have a feeling that we're going to get feedback from people who are unhappy that they are no longer able to do the things that they have been used to doing there. So just, that's coming down the pike. It's in front of the Conservation Commission. It's currently continued until October 28th. We will hear the sort of final presentation from them.
They already came to select board, and they are the Division of Fishing and Wildlife for the Commonwealth. And they're tasked with letting people fish in public waters, and our pond, the Great Pond, is a public water. So it is a, we have to do a partnership. And I also think we have a beautiful public lake. People can go there to swim and relax and,
But they can't swim from the boat ramp.
well, you're not supposed to anyway. There's supposed to be boats. We've talked about that here. And we've talked about the floaties. So like, I see it as a help. The dog thing, I don't know, people are still gonna bring their dogs.
Not if the police officer's there.
I don't think they can afford it, but we'll see. Anyways, we can also do some education and outreach and,
I mean, the only thing that's rid of, then there's nowhere for people to fish. Other than a boat or the causeway.
Who would we be?
The fishing is one of their priorities to do from the bank,
But not from the boat ramp.
no.
not from the kayak ramp. That's not permitted.
Yeah,
They fish, if I may say, they fish regularly from the dam area.
They're going to allow fishing?
Fishing is it's fish and game, so
Yeah.
their primary,
Uh-huh.
directive is for fishing and, well, in this case, fishing,
just fishing, but
so.
I'm gonna take the next step, and I'm gonna do something that even though we've been all together for 2 years, some for 1 year, Phil has been for a year now, is I want to get everybody to know everybody that's on it. And I had asked everybody to send a sort of a bio. I have it on the screen. I don't know if you can, and I just want to go over, and there seems to be in the bio a common denominator of what needs to be done for, or suggestions of what the individual members would like to see done. But I sent everybody these bios, and I'm hoping everybody reads it. And the reason I say this is because there are going to be projects where you're going to want to work with other people. And I want everyone to feel comfortable. I feel like we really didn't get to know each other during this time and what our forte is. So on Tom, basically, he was saying that he needed a clearer mission statement. And I wrote a mission statement that I will send to everybody, but it's really up to, if you want to think about a mission statement that you think this organization.
I think the organization has to develop the mission statement, not one person.
No,
Everything committee
but,
needs to.
well, then right. No, the idea is you're not going to have a group that's going to get together and write it. But I have written a mission statement. I'll submit it, and then we'll decide which one or how we want to do it. Otherwise, it's not going to get
We already
done.
had one.
I don't think we have one.
I think we do.
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah,
At the inception. of the-
yeah, because you have
We
to
did.
start the
There
committee.
was a mission
But that's
statement.
years ago.
Yeah, many.
Oh, okay. The other thing that, Tom, that you felt was the clarity of the place in the hierarchy of the management of the bowl. We seem to be an afterthought. And quite a few of you felt the same way. but we'll go. I felt the same way and was really concerned in what I want to get done and whether we can do it but I really feel let's go forward. Let's come up with the projects that we're going to work on, which I have well outlined, and sort of ask certain people to spearhead those areas. And I had asked Tom if he would get together all the information from the water testing. We get water testing done by GZA, by the town itself, by Solitude, and none of it is coming to us. Solitude is an SBA project with SBA, but nevertheless, it can be shared. And what I'd like, Tom, and if you want to work with anyone else, it would be great, but it's up to you.
I mean, to see what it involves. It sounds like
What?
easy enough to reach out to people
Yeah.
and ask them to send us the information. So,
Say that again?
I mean, it's easy. I'm sorry, I just not. I'm sick. Which is why I'm sitting over here. No, I'll reach out to, if I have the
Right.
okay of the committee and the authority to do it, I will reach out to these people and say, send us this information.
You do. So I'd like to put that in motion that we give Tom the authority to do such a job. Can I have a vote of yes?
So moved.
So moved? Yes. So Tom, the way I see your mission is to make sure that the town sends us all the information and go over it with whoever the powers to be, with GZA, with the limnologist. And what does it mean? What does it mean for us and what does it mean for the lake?
Would be nice if the Concom got those things too, because they're required.
Well, I can't ask for you, but you're welcome to, yeah.
That's Bill,
Oh, no.
because we don't get them either.
Sally, you were concerned about runoff from people's yards and an educational process. And when we go after this bio thing, we'll go over what I think are the most important parts of looking at the lake and what we should try to accomplish. And I sent Sally a pamphlet that was done by Roxanne when we left before your reign. And I can do that, but I think we should really be looking at how to really encourage neighbors that abut the lake to abide by no fertilization, no nutrients, pesticides, and how do we do a better job of getting that mission to them. According to Lauren Garrity, which the runoff is the most serious issue that lakes are facing for a healthy lake. In other words, so how can we get other people? Now, I understand legally you probably can't do it. I thought maybe you even get them to do an oath, a pledge, maybe but let's just see what we can come up with. Sally, if I could get you and whoever you wish to work with on this, and I'll help you. Would you take that on?
Sure.
You don't have to say it. Yeah, you got
I
enough
mean,
on your
the
plate.
thing
Or
is-
does anyone, let me ask, I apologize. Does anyone else wish to do it? I will help because I really think that's one of the most important things is to get abutters to be more conscientious of how they treat the lawns vis-a-vis the lake.
I'd be happy to work on that. I do have sort
Uh-huh.
of one narrow gauge and one broad gauge observation about that.
Uh-huh.
First of all, it looks as if the SBA has done a lot of work in the educational and presentation of suggested practices and the like. So that's something to reach out for. And that was actually part of the attachment, Michael, that you sent around was the SBA
Right.
resource material. The other thing that dawns on me, and I don't want to broaden out the project or unnecessarily. But the concept of homeowner practices and abutters also plays into the runoff question. To me, if we're looking for ways to group topics that logically connect with one another, that may be a related topic that, sort of the watershed generally, the people who live right at the base and people whose runoff affects the lake as a grouping.
Mm-hmm.
We can address it later on, but it just dawned on me when I was looking at this stuff today.
Right.
A lot of what the SBA put out was stuff that I nagged them into putting out.
Yeah, the issue is the information is there. How do we make it stick? If we can, but let's give it a shot because it's such an important part.
We put it into every order of conditions that we put out from the Conservation Commission, but if the person doesn't have a project that we can condition, then it's, don't have the opportunity to
Right.
do that. So the conditions are there for any of the new projects that they need to abide by. But, frankly, we have one person that we just did that with. They got their certificate of compliance and they put the fence back up again. What can you do?
No, this is a very hard one. I mean, we can't patrol people's homes. But I think if we do a more constant barrage through SBA, through Lake, through associations, a constant reminder how important it is. I mean, people want to see herbicides, but they're doing negatives on their lawn to increase the issues of the lake. All right, I'm going to go to the next one. Gary Kleinerman, who's our harbor master. And is Gary's there? Is that Gary?
No, right.
No, I apologize. Yeah.
He's over here.
What?
He's in the corner.
He's looking for your paper.
I-
I'm just looking for it.
Oh,
Right.
let me remember what I wrote
Who remembers? It was a long time ago.
yesterday.
You know what? I'm going to go to Lori. Is that Lori's?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't see that.
Yeah, you can't see it?
No, I
It's you.
can't see that. It's me.
Okay,
I can't see
well,
that.
welcome
Even with the
to,
glasses.
Lori, your issue was about safety on the lake. You were interested in safety. And I think that's a great thing for you to spearhead because as you said, you're not science oriented, neither am I. So if this is something that you look into, what are the issues? Is the camp doing the boating correct, like when they go, or miles per hour going in the correct way for safety for swimmers, for kayakers, whatever? I don't have all the questions, but if you look into it, you may come up with things. And if you need help, let me know.
Okay,
Is that something that you can see
yeah.
doing? Okay, thank you. All right. I think this is Gary. No.
It is.
It is? Yeah. Gary, you have enough on your plate. Harbor master and boat ramp. So what we need from you, of course, is what the lake needs from the Zebra Mussel Committee, as you've been doing, what it needs to go forward, where the sign should go up. And let me just preface that Don Chabon sent a document to the select board, but they haven't looked at it yet. To this point, they haven't seen it or looked at it. And one of the questions that Mike Canales had was, where should these signs go? So maybe, Tom, were you putting up the signs of some form in the past?
I put up the signs for the mussels.
All right, would you and Gary just send me a list of where you think? And Don,
These are the swimming signs.
no, these are the, the swimming with the floats. All right.
Include more than that. Yeah.
What?
We should include more than just that one item on there too.
Give me an example of what you mean.
Launching kayaks only from the boat ramp.
That's a good one.
No jet skis, those,
But they're already there. Those signs are already up.
I think they should be redone and we should add to them or, modify them.
Does the state do that though, Gary? I have a feeling.
Sorry?
I think the state does those signs.
No, the SBA did the big one that's at the boat ramp. That's,
Okay.
we can have that redone, I think.
We probably ought to ask since the fish and game people are really,
They hardly ever come down though.
they're coming down.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Believe it when I see it, but.
We are on their radar currently.
I have here Don Chabon. Don, first of all, Don, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate. I know you're somewhere. I don't know where you are, but I hope you're having a good time. You were talking about they should have that members should have a specific subject areas of bird dog. So I'm going to ask you to pick an area that you think you would like to look after and report back to us of importance. You sent quite a list to me of subject matters. I think I sent it on to everybody. Has that?
Yeah.
If you can, because I don't have a specific on your bio or your background of what you wanted to see done.
Let me review the list and get back to you on that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. And last is Louis Corman. He is here, right? Louis, are you on?
He was.
on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, Louis was pretty much.
I am on. Sorry,
Oh,
I'm
Louis.
I'm in an airport and I don't want a lot of the background noise. I'm on my way back.
Well, you sound perfect.
Baltimore Airport, waiting to fly to Albany. So, yeah, I'm going to mute because there's often a lot of background noise. I'll do whatever you want.
So you have a bit of basically you're a doctor. We have two doctors on, and I'm giving them more of the science areas. But I just got a call today from Dr. Kinney, and I will go on that about the cyanobacteria issue that he's working on with the Board of Health, unless you want to talk about that after I get through. But you're very involved with that, and you're going to be our liaison for what's happening on cyanobacteria.
Correct. We're developing, we met actually with GZA yesterday for a proposal on what to do if there's a bloom. So that will be presented to the Stewardship Commission once that document is completed. The other thing that I'm happy to help with is runoff. And there, one of the ideas, of course, is phosphate sampling to kind of get a sense of, and I don't know this, I have to look at the science a little bit, of whether you can look at the distribution of phosphate around the lake and where it's coming from, whether that might or might not be helpful. So I'm happy to kind of, if people have questions that they think are sort of scientifically oriented, I'm happy to look at the data and kind of use the tools that are around for trying to get answers to those questions. So that's something I'm more than happy to do. And I will ask, we'll use some of the newer technologies to get access, in particular AI and the various reference systems. So, I do this stuff all the time, so the learning curve is short.
Well, I appreciate that. Everybody who do me a favor, just outline what areas you are going to work on so that we can put it all into an organized document. And then I have, last but not least, is Phil. Is that right? Phil?
I don't know, but the least,
No, I meant, did I miss anybody when I go last?
no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I probably am the only one here who
Hold on a second.
we
Let me
didn't cover the
just,
bio, which is a rookie's bio, but nonetheless, I'm happy to lend a hand in a couple of areas that I might be useful. I don't, oh, you,
yeah, no,
yeah. Are we members of the
Yeah.
Lakes and Ponds Association?
we are.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We are.
So they're
Yeah.
a resource for us too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, when I sent everybody, I think I put their website in it. I believe I did. All right, so
See
Phil,
when their next meeting is?
I don't know when their next meeting
Should
is.
be soon.
Right. So let me just get to Phil. And one of the things that I think, I'm going to get to you, think Lily Pond. And the legalities of it.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because I'm going to come back. I'm going to back to Phil that I want him to help spearhead that. Phil's forte is in legal matters, from what I understand. That's what you wrote.
I'm a reformed lawyer.
A reform lawyer? Yeah. And we could use you on,
I'm happy to run down some of
Whatever-
those issues which are tangential to what we're thinking about.
doing, right.
Yeah.
Because one of the
And how
things,
to look up law and interpret it. It's
Okay, great.
useful. We don't have to pay outside counsel for that. And we'll enlist the town when we have a real issue and we need town council, but we don't have that right now.
all right. You know, and then I have a thing called essential trimmers. I don't know if anyone else has it. It's hard to cook with it. All right. So here, the next thing I put out is basically what I felt were the most essential issues that our lake is faced with. And I'm just going to go through them quickly because most of them everyone already knows. And the restoration project is, of course, of essence. And I don't think we have much say on that. When I spoke to Michael Canales, he said that there's not much that this organization can do to help on that. I'm not sure what he meant, but anyway. And of course, cyanobacteria. And the cyanobacteria, Lewis will help us on. We need to establish a native vegetation buffers and aquatic plant control, which includes switching to phosphorus-free lawn fertilizers, which we just spoke about, where Sally.
Or no fertilizers.
Or no fertile, right.
Because it doesn't, people are confused when they think if it's organic, it's okay, they can use it. They
Thank you.
can't.
Okay,
Because it grows everything just the same way the stuff
Right.
with the phosphorus does, but the phosphorus is more damaging.
switch to phosphorus-free lawn fertilizer. Did I say organic? Did I?
No,
Oh,
but I'm
okay.
just saying,
Oh,
that's the
okay.
response that we get. Oh,
Right.
I always only use organic fertilizer.
Right.
It's like, what does it do? It makes stuff grow. If it goes in the lake, it makes stuff grow.
All right. So we also should address the non-point source pollution, which is basically the same of rainwater or anything coming into the lake from outside the lake. And some of it is coming from very far away, but I'm not sure, besides what we can do from neighbors, we can look into that. Do you have any information on that from Concom, like from non-pollution, or not pollution, but nutrients or whatever coming from?
There has not been a recent study that I'm aware of. That I know that there was some concern about the stuff getting from Highland Farm into, it's the watershed, basically.
Right.
So the whole watershed, what comes down into into Lily Pond, then comes down Lily Brook and, you know,
Because there's a watershed.
Tanglewood
Yeah.
and all of those places. I mean, Tanglewood uses chemicals, they use fertilizers. And it's,
Is that something we should be talking to Tanglewood about?
yes,
Well, let's put that on the
Did you say no?
They're not gonna-
agenda. What?
you like talking to yourself?
Why?
It's impossible.
Your BSO,
They're not going to change.
we're not.
That went over my head. That went over my, right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've had any number of project. There was a project years ago when they were cleaning out they were cleaning their equipment in the parking lot up by the shed.
Mm-hmm.
And all this foam was coming out of the culvert that's just north of Gould Meadows. It was like foam
Uh-huh.
everywhere.
Sounds
Everything that
chemical.
comes, everything that, it was just soap, but still. Everything that comes off of Tanglewood goes down that hill or goes through the culverts into the lake. And that you bet they fertilize their lawns because, you know, that's important for their lawns to be healthy. But, you know, it's all the same
Right.
problem.
Well, I still think we should talk to them. At least, as long as it's on record, I think we should talk to them. Gary, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We did a runoff study. It might be before your time. You might remember it, Sally. I was in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And one of the things they determined back then was that very little runoff was coming from septic. Most of it was pine trees, and that's where the phosphorus is getting into the water.
The phosphorus level, from what I remember from those early ones, is not really such a big deal. All of the detergents that people use to wash their clothes and that sort of thing the phosphorus has been eliminated. So that sort of contamination is less worrisome than some others. But, you know, the pollution, the stormwater runoff is big, whatever it carries with it, whether it's salt, whether it's, you know, oils, machine oils, whether it's gasoline or whatever from the boats. All of that goes in the lake. And I've been driving everybody nuts for years saying that the proliferation of larger houses around the lake and more frequent usage of the lake has changed everything because they're there in the winter. They want to get out of their driveways. Their driveways are like this. How do they get out of their driveways? They salt them. Where does the salt go? This way. The fact that the houses are bigger, there's more pervious surface, means that there is more heat being generated from those houses. The habitat loss. This is the conservation's concern, and habitat loss. And, you know, we're lucky enough to have some eagles, but you know,
Right.
it's the heavy usage around the lake is changing the lake altogether from the ecosystem point of view.
Are there any statewide regulations that would be imposed on Stockbridge as a town, for example, which we could arm ourselves with, or?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, the Conservation Commission has a stormwater bylaw, it has its wetlands bylaw, that those are town issued. But we also have scenic mountains, which really doesn't play into much in terms of the bowl, but it does Lily Pond. And then, of course, there's the Wetland Protection Act and the federal stormwater bylaws or regulations that.
I'm going to go on to the next one, which is septic systems, which is a serious issue on the west side of the lake, which Lake Drive, which is the second largest association. And we're very fortunate to have the president of this Lake Drive with us right here. And that discussion started with this organization when Stockbridge Bowls Stewardship Committee first started, and we had sewer representatives and town representatives and everything. And it's very important because they're all the west side, none of the west side has town sewage. It's all septic. And even though some of them are quite old and some of them are just grandfathered, not grandfathered, but they're still being used until a new home comes in and then they have to redo it. But the issue with even ours is that that it comes out clean, but it's still, the nutrients are still going into the lake. So we're trying to get the town to really look at sewer system for the west side of the lake. So it bypasses the lake, that it doesn't go into the lake. I think, Rachel, you're working on this with Beth, or
Yes,
can you
yes.
give us like an update of?
We almost always have some septic systems that have failed Title V.
Uh-huh,
And according to the regulations, we have 2 year, each resident has 2 years to correct that situation. So that's 2 years of a failed system. We still have some homes that have tight tanks.
right.
So we are working with the Sewer and Water Commission to see what can be done. My guess, my hope is that next year in the budget will be an engineering feasibility study so that we can assess whether it can be done, and if so, how much it might cost. But it's a long process.
Right.
And painfully slow. But to the extent that this body supports the switch from septic to sewer and can provide support when it gets presented in the budget and to the select board, that would be very helpful.
Well, I'm not sure how to do that, but I think we voted on at one point, but I'm willing to take a vote here of that we support the town providing town sewer system to the west side of the lake, to all the homes in the west side of the lake. How long that takes, I don't know, because when we discuss it, it seems to be a lot of problems doing that. But if I could take a quick show of hands, are we in support of that? That the town,
I'm still not voting, but I.
yeah,
would-
well, I look to you for guidance.
I have reservations.
You do. All right, well, it's interesting. Michael said that we didn't even need a discussion in this committee. But I want to hear, what are your
Well, I
reservations?
mean, this is from sort of an overall view of if we sewer the west side, and there are definitely places and houses that absolutely ought to be hooked up. Then that should be done, but we need to be vigilant in terms of how much of our sewer system we take up, because if we hit the 80%, then DEP will mandate that we expand the sewer system, which is going to be hugely expensive.
Ginormous.
I agree.
Ginormous.
What I did ask when the DeSister project was being considered, whether they were going to just have to pay to hook up, and then our residents would then get screwed because we would have to pay for the expansion of the system. And I asked several times to several different people, and I was told that that was not the case. Now, what I think is a little weird from a science point of view is that in the sewer needs analysis report, they have a chart as to what gets weighted the most and what gets weighted the least, in considering what areas within the town should be considered for a sewer system. And believe it or not, expressing interest was considered very highly. It had the highest rating, whereas being next to the water was considered the lowest rating. I think that's backwards. I think it should be based on the environment and where it's needed, but that's just from my point of view, from a science point of view. So I'm just sort of saying, as it's a ways off, but as it gets closer, having this body discuss it and perhaps as its purpose is to advise the select board would be terrific. So.
I understand what you're saying, but I really think that the 40 homes, I think there are like 40 homes in Lake Drive.
Right.
I mean, that probably is about, I would imagine, 50% of the homes that are on the west side of the lake. And I really think it's very important that the homes be on town sewer for the health of the lake.
We're very close. Like,
Yeah, Don, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the first 4 homes are on town sewer.
Right, we know, yeah. So 36, yeah.
And some additional information, in Glendale, there's water and sewer pipes that need to be replaced that are over 100 years old. So, I mean, we do have to look at the whole town, and it's, as Sally said, it gets really expensive fast.
You know, I think that part is out of our hands. We can vote on whether it's the right thing to do and let the chips fall where they may. But if we start analyzing outside of our knowledge, what areas need to be done, that is really up to the sewer department and the water department. But we can still cast a vote saying that we support the concept of having town sewer on the west side of the lake. I don't think that changes.
Well, I think it's a good concept. I think you need a specific proposal for us to vote on.
Well, then,
I mean, we need to see how much would it cost, what would it cost? Yes,
And
And there are some-
percentage, like Sally brought up.
yeah.
There are also large parcels around the west side of the lake that have septic systems which are perfectly functional. So I think that there's a question as to whether, I think you need to analyze which properties are really in jeopardy, and which ones would best serve the limited capacity that we're going to have.
I don't think that's our ability to do that.
No, it's not.
You know, how are we
But I
going to do that?
can't vote
So-
yes without thinking.
No, you don't have to
about
vote
that.
yes if you're not comfortable. But what I'm saying is, basically, our committee is one of an advisory committee. It's not a committee to analyze, as Mike Canales says, we bring our advisory point to the town and they take it up and decide how to put it forward. If we look at every part of this and analyze it, we're going to be paralyzed.
Well, it's a matter of
It's-
priority.
You want your advice to be good advice.
Correct.
Based on evidence, based on
Thoughtful.
facts, not based on, well, yeah,
Well-
this is a good idea. Yeah, having less septic is a good idea, but
Why don't we
maybe it's
wait,
not, it's gonna bankrupt the town and, you know.
Michael, maybe we should
Yeah.
wait until they are further along in their process and then make a decision?
Well, this is really, I'm not saying we should take a vote. Well, I would like to take a vote, but what I'm saying is, I believe this was already voted on a while ago. I have to look at the minutes, but, if we want to pass on this and do it later on, fine. Is everybody in agreement on passing on it? And, or tabling it until this vote? All right,
Michael,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we should endorse this idea.
I
You know,
agree.
priorities, and I think this is a priority, and it's not only affecting the sewer systems, but it's affecting the lake, and which is an important town resource. And I'm in favor of endorsing this.
I'm trying to figure out why it's such a difficult.
No, it's like, well, I don't think it's difficult, but I mean, if all we're gonna say is, yes, we think having less septic is a good idea, we can vote on that. If we vote to say the town should put a septic on the west side of the lake,
Should
all
consider,
the considerations of that.
no, but you can word, Tom, you can word it that they should really strongly consider putting a septic, and Lake Drive, you have 36 homes.
No, that makes perfect sense, but it's, again, what are you voting on?
Don?
Yeah, they're going to take care of the system maybe, and supposedly, and why not? I think this is
Yeah.
priority. It's important.
I don't hear any of us going, wait, let's stop the Sistos from getting, but we're stopping our own homes. I'm not sure I understand the concept.
Doing anything. I'm just saying I like to vote on something that I know what I'm voting on. And not a
What's-
vague concept
Well, it is a vague, a lot of
that
people.
could be interpreted by other people as meaning something else, you
Well,
know?
well, we have people looking into it. I mean, Rachel is looking into it. I think you're working with Beth on it, that we have people looking into it. But I think another endorsement by,
Would it be,
we're the, basically the guardians of the lake.
I mean, where you are in the process right now, is our input of any value to you at this point? Or would it be better to have it later?
It might be better later. We hardly have any traction at this point.
Okay?
And again, I am outsider of this body, but the scope of the body is advisory, whether it's too expensive for the town or they have other priorities, is way out of the scope of this body, right?
I agree.
So it's just a matter of wording it so that there is
You ready?
consensus from the health of the lake, is this a good idea?
All right. Why don't we draft something that we can all read and look at?
Will you draft that, Phil? You put some.
It's, sure,
Perfect.
I'll try and accommodate.
Michael, may I comment?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, it's a procedural thing, but why don't we wait till there's a solicitation by the sewer department in anticipation of going to the select board with their plan? And that strike when the iron is hot. And then this body says, we endorse or we don't endorse the plan as written, or we endorse it with the following modifications.
Something more
That's good.
concrete.
Now, out
That's
of
good.
disconnected. is
Because then it comes
very
at the right
little
time.
impact.
Okay.
Right, we're too early.
I'm not sure you're too early and we're going to end this conversation in a minute. But I'm not sure you're too early because we've been talking about this now for almost 2 years.
But Rachel said they've got a ways.
Yes, because it wasn't even, originally, it wasn't even on the list of priorities. It's now, I believe, on a list of priorities. Mike Buffoni,
But Rachel's,
exactly.
Rachel's
So any
hopeful.
extra or anybody rowing in the same direction might bring it to the attention of the urgency of putting it closer to the top of the list. All right,
Does this ultimately become a recommendation of?
it's only a recommendation.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about us. I'm talking about the select board or whoever would enforce a rule. Is that a rule or is it just the expression of preference on the part of the select board? The reason I'm asking is because it's obviously a major expenditure and leaving aside our jurisdiction or our ability to weigh
Right.
in on that part of it, I'm just curious what happens when the whole community says, okay, the Lake Drive area and the X number of houses, 30 houses, are contributing a significant runoff from their septic systems. We order you to do this. We think you should do this. I'm just curious what eventuates, what results from everybody getting behind the concept.
Doesn't this go to the select board, Jamie?
I think that because it's such a high budget item, it would go to town meeting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a huge amount,
Right.
like billions of dollars. Like this isn't thousands, like it's lots of
It
zeros.
feels like that. That's why I'm poking at it.
Well, so is the restoration project, which we endorsed.
Right?
I mean, to endorse something doesn't necessarily change what the outcome, it might
But SBA and the
nudge
town
it
have
in a certain
already,
direction.
want to do it.
Restoration project has a project, right? There-
right, it's a real thing.
Oh, this is a project, we have a project.
Don't know what it is yet.
And also, we have to remember that we've had, I mean, I don't know, Jamie, how many projects do we have before us on conservation where
Right,
they're
and they've
putting in a
done-
new septic system
Uh-huh.
on Lake Drive? Who's just spent $35,000?
Right, all those fancy ones.
So somebody has to investigate who's in and who's already taken care of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, if the septic system fails and the property changes hands, they have to have the Title V. If the
Right.
Title V fails, they have to fix it one way or the other. And many residents of around the lake have fixed it by having a new septic system at great expense
Yeah.
put in. So they may or may not want to spend another $35,000 to hook up to the town septic. So I think we just don't know enough.
I repeat myself.
Why don't we just let it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Moving on.
What
I
else?
like
Who else? Well, I'm sorry.
I said, no, let's get a draft proposal that we can read and
Okay.
think about and vote on.
Lawyers specialize in mealy mouth recommendations, statements.
Make
You
it
may
neat.
find some of that in this.
Thanks.
And I just want to say one thing, even on the restoration project, we're still at the beginning of the restoration project in many ways. And we have totally endorsed that. So I'm just saying that our mission, is only recommendation. It's not, well, some houses have it, it's too expensive for others, it's whatever. That, I'm seeing it totally different than whether the specifics and the intricacies of how hard it is to do should influence whether we believe it's the right thing to do for the lake. That's it. That's all I'm saying. All right, we have water testing, which, Tom, you're going to take care of. And invasive species control. This is an issue where we should get reports from the town, and I'm going to ask SBA to please give us their reports on water chestnuts. But all of these things, we're not getting any of these reports. Not just the water, but
We don't get them either.
you don't get them either?
No.
Right. So I said to Michael, why shouldn't it be just a normal thing that if it has to do with the lake, why don't you just send it to us? It's not that difficult to do that. And he said he would. Now, I'm just, because we have an important thing that I would like to bring up is because we have 5 minutes basically left in our hour allocated to us. And I know, Jamie, do you have a 6:30? Oh, you don't? Okay. So we can go until 8.
No.
I would like to talk about the Lily Pond runoff. That is really not, as most know, that a lot of the silt that's coming into by the causeway is coming because the Lily Pond stream or whatever the silt was never taken out. And they had built years ago, Sally, you may be able to add to this. Years ago, they had built a pit,
Retention.
I believe, retention, right. And they let it go and it just filled up, and theoretically, and I say theoretically because I don't know, it's wetlands. Now, it's always been understood that wetlands can't be touched.
That's not entirely true.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Thank you. So as Sally said, that's not entirely true. And I would like to explore the issue of going to the Concom, going to the powers to be and get a NOI and then order of condition to at least take out enough silt so that more doesn't come into the causeway. We're having a serious issue with the causeway. And did someone say something? We're having a serious issue with the causeway. And I really feel that we have a shot, if we do it right, to get the DEP. I don't think we have in there any like snail issue or whatever, I don't know, that requires NHESP approval. But I would like us,
Oh, yeah.
well, let's talk about that, because we don't need to take the whole thing out. We just need enough to take out that it doesn't spill out more, is the way I look at it, unless someone else has a different opinion. But we shouldn't make it worse. We should try to at least contain it. And I was thinking of, for the next meeting, is almost having a site visit there.
This is nothing simple.
Sally?
Is this part of it? This is not built into the dredging project,
No.
Well, no.
but it should be.
Well, let me tell you,
It would be an interesting
They
proposition.
don't do this,
Yeah.
it's just gonna fill in it.
right,
I mean, it was supposed to be a fire pond originally,
yeah.
but it hasn't been maintained.
I wanted you to.
And it is
talk to me
now a
about that,
wetland.
the legality of.
And I have personally seen threatened species birds in there, it's a big deal. And anything around the lake is natural heritage. There's no way to get around
Okay,
that.
right.
It would have to be presented as a restoration project. It's huge.
All right, so let me just read.
Sally, the flip side, what happens if we do nothing? I mean, I'm watching the weeds get worse.
I fully understand, but from an environmental standpoint, this is the way it goes. This is the way nature takes care of things. They fill in, first they were ponds, then they're not ponds anymore. It is not unnatural. It's what people want.
It is unnatural, the way it's built.
No, it's not. It's exactly the way nature does things.
No, look, the lake is going to be filled at one point 100 years, 1,000 years from now if we hadn't built a dam, whatever. But you built a dam and it's artificially filling in.
That's human intervention.
Right, so this is human intervention too, to a point, the pit or the retention that was built there. And so when I went on the line, I said, when is dredging allowed for wetlands? And let me just read a quick thing. It may be permitted for the maintenance, repair, or replacement of existing lawfully located structures used for public service, for coastal areas improvement. But it had a whole list of things that I thought, if we look into it, that might fit in to at least some kind of relief. We don't have to do a total restoration of that, but we should really look into a partial that it doesn't make it worse. And if you're talking about talking about species that are endangered, we may have to write up of how we make up for that.
Right.
Right. But I really think it's important enough for us, for this committee, to look into how we can make the causeway no worse than it is. Because the causeway is part of the restoration project. That is
Michael?
part of it. The beach is part of it. Don, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I apologize. I'm on a boat in a harbor and my time for going ashore has run out. So I need to go. And thank you very much for a great meeting, and I'll watch the rest of the video.
All right, Don, thank you for coming on, really. I don't know where to go from here, but I'm asking Phil legally, and I would help him. I'm asking Sally if she would. I think we got to look at this positively. I learned one thing at work in my business is I would go into meetings and I go, the negatives will all show up on their own. They have a life of their own. Every negative has a life of its own. We don't have to help those negatives. What our job should be is how can we make this a positive project? The negatives will either defeat us even before we begin, or they'll defeat us on the way.
One observation on that.
Yeah.
We also have to maintain our credibility. And so what we say publicly and when is important.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we can still take the first step.
We got to do some homework before that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all.
But that's why I say it would have to be presented as a restoration project.
Okay.
It would have to say that the area to the east of the causeway has deteriorated. It no longer
Right.
functions as how it should function. I'm not saying that, I never said that it couldn't get done. I'm just saying it's a big, hairy deal.
And wouldn't it make sense to, I don't know if it's too late to incorporate that into the dredging, because it's the same thing, right?
Well, the reason I say why I personally feel, having negotiated all those years with NHESP on that, is it's just going to add time then to another testing. They have basically a lot of the information. We never looked at that part as part of the restoration. But I think it can be a separate part and I'm trying to make it restoration light, to them, if that makes any sense. But I think it's important. We cannot let that area get totally silted in underneath the causeway. And that's my opinion. Does anybody have anything?
I agree.
You agree?
I watch it
Gary?
every day.
We
Yeah.
might want to think about Lily Brook rather than doing the whole area.
No, Lilybrook. I'm talking just about
Yeah,
Lilybrook.
just do that.
Yeah.
Maybe put retention ponds there that can be cleaned out, because
Right.
that'll, over the long run, that might be the best, the easiest.
And as far as reputation, I've heard that our reputation right now isn't so great. So we have, I think the more we look into these things, and some will be done, some won't be done, but I think we should give it a shot while we still have the energy to do it.
I think if we're even considering undertaking such a thing, that we
Yeah.
should get David Cameron.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this is part of the budget I had here, but I'm not going to continue, is we need to get a budget, because people like David they might cost us, or people who have done this, or whatever we have to look at. And there should be a group looking at a budget that I'll work with, and I'll try to get 2 other people to work with me on that. I think I'm gonna have 3 people working together. Sally? You have to tell me, you're my lawyer. You tell me.
Yes.
Okay,
You can have 3.
all right. But budget is very important for this. And, but I really think, so I was thinking of taking, Gary, do you know where this retention issue is on the other side, or is it just right on the other side of the causeway?
Used to be, if you were looking east from the causeway, it was over on the right, where the brook came down, where it was kind of open in there, but that's all gone.
It's all gone. But if we did a site visit, it would be right there, basically, off the highway, off the road on that.
Lots of swamp grass.
Yeah, but it'll give us a sense of how bad it is. And you guys already know.
And look in
A lot of people
No.
don't
And
know.
look in the lake to the west from the causeway. I mean, it goes out of,
No, well, that's why I'm trying to stop it
yeah.
from creeping further.
Well, I guess the issue is if the dredging project happened, they clear out the west side of the causeway. It's just gonna fill in again. So the other way to deal with that, you just have to dredge it again.
Right, this is preventive.
Future.
This
But
is,
then they're gonna have to keep dredging the Lily Brook.
no, that is,
But the retention-
that is the highway department. That's exactly right. That was their job to do, was every year to take it out.
They did.
And then they stopped doing it.
Well, we know why.
No, and whoever was,
Maybe they can't do it anymore.
no,
They could have done it, I think, if it were continuously operating and it was under some sort of maintenance agreement,
Yeah.
but that's long expired.
yeah.
When did they stop? Do we know when they stopped doing it?
I think seventies.
Years ago.
Seventies. I mean, we're talking 50 years of,
There's no
Yeah.
way you can dig up the record. I mean,
No.
did the state come in and say, no, you can't do this anymore?
Yeah.
Or, why, because if that's what happened, then
Well, it obviously would have to be a whole new, it would
Yeah.
have to be looked at in an entirely new way. And like I say, it would have to be, you'd have to make the case that it's a restoration project, because otherwise they're not gonna let you do it.
and then if they do let us do it, I would ask the town that would be the highway department, to keep it as an annual, whatever we can get from the powers to be in Boston to allow us. But what we don't want is it to put any more in. Are we all right. Anyways, I want to thank everyone for coming, and for the other thing, in future meetings, you can interrupt me anytime, because I can go on. So,
And our next meeting is,
Next
scheduled
week.
for next week.
Next
the
week.
meeting is scheduled for next week. For some reason, we had,
I think it was because the week after that is Rosh Hashanah.
Yes.
oh, is that what it is? And I won't be here. So the meeting is next week. Let's
Continue.
continue.
motion
And,
to adjourn.
yeah.
Are we continuing
I don't know what.
to
we're
have
doing
it
here.
next week or?
Yes,
Okay, all
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Just clarifying.
yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Sally.
All right. Because I think I took it off my
I'm
calendar.
going to call this a meeting. I'm going to ask, does
You need a-
anybody, what do I need to do?
A motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn, thank you. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
All right. Let's,
All in favor?
all,
Aye.
Aye.